Greetings and good morning. Ray Carnicelli, Lax904 here in North Carolina. Big day for lacrosse all around the country. So many good games. Which one are you most interested in? Is it number 8, Rollins, hosting Flagler College down in Orlando? Maybe it's, like me, Scranton and Cortland. Is that the one? Listen to these games today. Denver and North Carolina. Cornell and Ohio State. Princeton and Georgetown. Notre Dame and Maryland. Johns Hopkins and St. Joe, Richmond and Virginia. And then in the A-Sun, you've got Robert Morris and Hobart, Air Force and Mercer, Utah and Rutgers, or maybe it's Jacksonville and High Point here at the Crown Classic. High school lacrosse, full busy week. In the newsletter, I put some of the scores from this past week. There's some big games today, big games next week. Tomorrow morning on the radio show, we'll go through the high school results. We'll look at what the 904 players are doing around the country today with so many of them in action, all of these great college games. But I want to talk a little bit of a deeper dive on High Point versus Jacksonville. I'm very excited to call the game on 1010XL, so make sure you tune in at 6:30 from anywhere on the mobile app or on the website. If you're at the game, put the earpiece in. If you're watching another broadcast, turn that volume down and turn ours up. I'm a little worried that maybe Coach Torpy and the High Point coaches might have my commentary in their ear, so I will be careful. But I want to start off by letting you know what I don't know, which is very rare for me to do that. But I don't know if Max Waldbaum's playing today. I don't know if Ethan Lamond is healthy. So there's two things. When we get to the field for the pregame, we will keep an eye out for big number 17 to see if he's suited up in his uniform and ready to play. I expect him to play. We've got a couple of weeks until conference play. We've got UMass Lowell on Wednesday, a game that I'll be broadcasting on 1010XL. Then St. John's, and before you know it, it'll be that trip to Pennsylvania and Robert Morris. So I think it's a good time, if Max is 100%, to get him out there and integrated into the offense. But even if he's not, Jacksonville matches up very well with High Point. The thing about High Point is they're high energy, their bench is loud, and depending on where you sit, maybe a little bit obnoxious. They try to get under your skin as an opponent. Coach Torpy is very bombastic, so the referees are in for an earful today. But you've heard Coach Galloway talk about keeping the poise, playing their game, proving it with your play, and High Point is very talented, especially on offense. Some people think Asher Nolting's gone, so blow up the team. But looking and doing some research on the guys that are there, everyone knows what a great finisher Braden Maia is. He's always been one of the higher shooting percentage players in lacrosse, and I don't think that's going to change this year. He's had 5 goal games versus Jacksonville. He had a hat trick the following week versus Jacksonville in 2021. Hunter Vines, who seems like he's been around forever, he scored a 4-goal game against Jacksonville. He's had hat tricks. And you look at Jack Van Overbeek at attack, number 13, very strong. Michael Ippolito, he's been around for a while. He is a talented goal scorer. And then, as I mentioned, Vines and Maia, and then you've got some younger guys, a couple of juniors, and Nick Rizzo and Colin Cook. Jackson Lamb from down at Oak Hall in Gainesville. So they've got 9 solid goal scorers. But Jacksonville's close defense is so strong right now. The LSMs are getting a little bit more experience and playing a little bit better. And then the short stick defensive middies, the rope unit, there's such a strength for Jacksonville, not just on that closed down one-on-one defense, but starting the early offense. We've seen, Wanovich emerge, the number 1 round 1 selection for the NLL in Zach Deacon he's playing as good as I've ever seen him play. Garrity and Denal and whoever else might slide in there. I think they're pretty well locked down on defense, and they'll be able to handle the 6-on-6 offense of High Point. Transition's a little different story, so Jacksonville's got to be very mindful in transition. I think they will be. Where I think Jacksonville has a big advantage is dodging their middies. Their short stick defensive middies, I think, are susceptible to getting out of position. They're athletic, but decision making and the position they find themselves in, I think that they could be exposed today, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. I've mentioned that High Point does like to bounce in and out of a zone. It's not their primary defense, but short time on a shot clock and a restart, coming out of timeouts. So Jacksonville, first of all, has to recognize when High Point is in that zone. And Jacksonville's offense is pretty well set up to beat a zone. Rapid ball movement, dodging, inverting, skipping passes. We might see some nice skips to the backside and shots. And I think Galloway and obviously Dylan Watson and Jacob Griner have some range on them, and I think those outside shots are going to stretch that zone out, which is going to open up things inside. I think Jackson Intrieri is going to have a huge day today, especially if he finds himself alone behind the goal, being able to pick out his targets, slide around the goal to score lefty-righty if they don't cover him, draw and dump. So that's going to be a fun matchup to watch. The zone or even just the one-on-one defense versus Jackson Intrieri. I'm predicting a very big day for him. On the close defense side again for Jacksonville, shut down Maia. The other guys will get their spots, but I'm predicting probably like a 12-9, 12-8 Jacksonville win. I'll go officially on the spot here, 13-8 Jacksonville victory. Call in tomorrow morning on the radio show and see how I did. Tune in tonight at 6:30 to 1010 XL. Listen to my call. It's going to be an exciting day for lacrosse all around the country. It starts at 11 o'clock with Denver at North Carolina, just up the road